I was in Joplin on Tuesday. I went down, it was Veterans Day, and I went down to see my dad. And he goes to lunch at a senior center on, well, most days actually, but it was Veterans Day, and my sister's birthday, so I decided to go down to Joplin. I had a flexible day, so I went down to Joplin and spent the day with them. And while I was driving, of course, by myself, I was just thinking about all kinds of things. You know, usually when I go see Dad, he'll say something like he doesn't have anything to do, or he's just sitting there dying, or something like that. So I'll usually suggest that. Oh, actually, he also mentions that he once started writing his um, autobiography, and so I'll often, encourage him to continue that, or I set him up on his computer once to record some stories, just simple audio files. He has a simple voice recorder on his computer. He could just sit there and just tell stories and record history for us. And I don't think he's done that, but anyway, I was thinking about that and thinking about um, Mary Beth, my first granddaughter, and then a granddaughter on the way in January, Lydia and Everett's child. And I was thinking about my own grandparents. You know, I I guess what I was thinking was that maybe I should help Dad record some stories and history, and wish I had some of that of my grandparents. You know, I think I thought about how I didn't really um, even imagine that I would have, I never would have thought that I would want to have, some memories of serious conversations with my grandparents. I didn't think about that really until until we lost my grandmother, Grandma LePage.
We lost Grandpa LePage first, and I think that got me thinking about the value of grandparents and all that. But when my grandmother LePage died, I remember sitting on the steps in my parents' home, and they were telling us about her death and the funeral plans and stuff. And I just went upstairs and I wrote my first song ever. And maybe I'll share that another time. But then I probably was, you know, uh, at that time I was in high school, and then I lost my mom's parents much later, and I don't know. I was just older. I was 25 or so when I first started thinking, wow, I wish I had more time with my grandparents, and wish I could hear more of their stories and that kind of thing. So I was thinking about that, and how I just wish I could sit down with them and just ask them about their childhood and ask them. I remember doing a little bit of that, but I didn't really take it all that seriously until they were gone. And so I was thinking, how could I record some of Dad's stories, even though, sometimes his stories change and stuff, but that's a whole other issue. But wish I'd have done that with my mom. And then I thought about my friend Randy Anderson when his dad was diagnosed with cancer. I remember he took a camera, set it down in front of his dad, and they just visited for hours, talking about family history and memories and hopes and dreams and regrets and all that kind of stuff. And so then I just had the idea, well, maybe I should help Dad record some things. And then I started thinking about my first grandbaby, Mary Beth, and she doesn't care right now about family history and grandpas, and she's a few months old. So and then I started thinking, well, she probably, even if she is really mature and she wants to know about things, she wants to know her family history, or she wants to know what I thought, or the things that I believe in and all that kind of stuff, maybe when she's 15. Like I'm 62 right now, so I'll be 77 when she's 15. I'll be 82 when she's 20. And that's not even to mention the grandkids, hopefully dozens of grandkids that are coming after her. I'll be much older by the time they're 20, by the time that they really, like all of us, care about these things and want to hear, want to listen, want to spend time with grandpas and grandmas. To a certain extent, we all do want to. When we're kids, we were always excited when my grandparents would come over to visit. My mom's parents came over every Thursday. We were typically in school, and then they would leave about the time shortly after we got home from school. But they came, and we were kind of excited because they would typically bring us some beef and maybe some candy and stuff. But anyway, I was thinking about all these things as I'm driving down to Joplin to see my dad, who is 88 right now, by the way. And it just hit me. Maybe I should do what I've been encouraging my dad to do. And, do it now while I'm still a professor, still have some semblance of coherence to my speech and everything. I was also thinking about how, every Sunday night right now, our family, almost every Sunday night, our kids, Beth's and my kids come over, and we have a family night. We have family night. And sometimes we sit around the fire, but we always share a meal, and it's fun. But I've always kind of wanted it to be a little more spiritual, a little more deep sometimes. And, there's a couple of boyfriends and a girlfriend in the mix right now that I would really love to go deeper with and understand, what they believe and think more. But it's just hard, with everybody here, everybody's having a good time, and, it's just really pretty casual and just laid back. But I've always wanted it to be maybe a little bit more spiritual. And So I came up with an idea. That's what I'm telling you all this is that I have an idea, and that idea I'm going to call Sundays with Grandpa. Sundays with Grandpa. Sundays with Grandpa and Grandma, of course. But the idea is that we would meet on Sundays at 4 o'clock, an hour and a half or so before everybody has been coming regularly. There's no real set time for that. Of course, we eat at 6, so. But I just thought, for whoever can get here, we spend an hour or so talking about important things that are important to Grandpa and Grandma. Some history, some family stories, maybe memories about people that, memories that will be gone if I don't share them, if Beth, Grandma, doesn't share them and record them and document them, they'll just be gone. For example, there's just a handful of people who remember Joseph and Alta LePage, and there's just a handful of us that remember them, and so some of that. But also, I'm a pastor, professor, planter, pontificator, just passionate about God and His Word, and passing on the faith to the next generation, and then the next generation, and the next generation. So I would just like for my grandkids and my great-grandkids to know what I believe, to hear some of the things that I teach, and those will be available in other ways. But I want to kind of have just a dialogue. Hopefully these chairs won't always be empty, but we can whoever can is invited to come and dialogue with me. Perhaps, and if nobody's able to make it, that's fine. I'll just sit and talk and share memories and stories. The idea is, it really comes from that thought I had was, wow, I wish I could spend an afternoon, spend a little more time with my grandparents. And so on the off chance that my grandkids or my kids or my grandkids or my great-grandkids would at some point in their lives wish they could spend an hour on a Sunday afternoon with Grandpa, I'm gonna just start recording these videos. I'm still getting used to the title Grandpa, by the way. It's November. What is it? Like November. Monday was the 10th, 11th, 12th. So 13th, November 13th of 2025 today. And so Mary Beth, my first granddaughter, was born on August 3rd. So August, September, October, November. She's 4.5 months old now. And Lydia's And Everett's baby is going to come, I think, around the 1st of February. And so, it's going to be a while before they care. But hopefully someday somebody will care about these videos. And maybe, I think I'm just going to post them on YouTube, and maybe there's somebody out there who doesn't have I don't remember their grandfather, or maybe they don't have a Christian grandfather, but they would like to have a grandfather who would tell them about Jesus and help them understand the way of Christ, help them understand what God's doing in the world in 2025 or whatever year they may stumble across these videos. But that's my plan. That's my plan. Sundays with Grandpa. I just noticed that Grandma came into the kitchen and turned on the lights. She's currently working at Calvary University. She is the assistant to the academic dean, and they couldn't get by without her now. And I was hoping to see her up there somewhere, but I don't see her now. I just saw her turn on the lights and look out here. She probably thinks I'm going crazy sitting here talking to myself. Just got home from work, so I'll go in and see her in a little bit. But this is your official invitation, by the way, to my kids and their significant others. And actually, even if you're not part of our family and you see this video and I don't know, if you're interested in spending an hour with Grandpa on Sunday, spending an hour with me on Sunday, then hey, just come by, call, text, leave a comment on YouTube, and I'll try to let you know where we live without telling the whole world where we live. Not sure I'm ready for that. But yeah, I think I'd be happy if people outside our family wanted to come and be a part of it. It's about sunset now, and we just had daylight savings switch over a couple weeks ago, so it's getting dark about 5 o'clock, 5:15 or so, and it's just a beautiful fall evening. I imagine in the next couple of weeks it'll be getting colder, much colder. But I think I'll just leave it at that and start sharing some family memories and other things in the next installment of Sundays with Grandpa. So actually today is Thursday, and I'm making this first video to invite my current family night attendees to join me, for Sundays with Grandpa this Sunday at 4 o'clock at our home. And let me know if you have any questions. But I think I'll close with prayer. Father, thank you for this beautiful evening. Thank you for where my my family is at this point in our history, with all of our kids transitioning into adulthood or have already arrived in adulthood, starting families of their own. Lord, you know their needs. You know exactly what they need. You know exactly what is needed for them to know you, walk with you. You know exactly what to provide for each one of them right now, and I pray that you would do that. And I pray for whoever might watch these videos, whoever might spend Sundays with Grandpa in the future. Lord, I just thank you that you transcend space and time, and yet you care what's happening today, in this moment. You care, and you are acting for our good, and you care about the future. I pray that you would be glorified through our lives, through our family, through Sundays with Grandpa, and you would just lead and guide. These are going to be unscripted, so just pray that you would lead and guide and bless these times together. Pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Thanks.